In this presentation, we're going to be looking at something new. We're going to be looking at what's called the Flosz rule. This is a spelling rule and a reading rule. We've already looked at some words that have the same letter twice at the end. This is going to be a bunch more of those. If a single syllable word ends in F, L, S, or Z, the last letter is usually doubled, not always. So let's look at some that follow the rule. Here's our first one. Ready to sound it out? Off. You only say that sound one time. Off. Off. She is taking off her gloves. Do you remember what this word says if it only has one F? Of. That was one of our sight words. Of. Okay, let's look at another Flosz word. Ready to sound it out? Puff. Puff. Here's a puff of wind. These are called cheese puffs because they're full of air. Next one. D-a-ol. D-a-ol. Doll. Doll is the word. This is the only word in the English language that ends in O-L-L and says all. All the rest of them end in something else that we'll look at later. Here is an F word that does not get doubled. Do you remember what that one is? If. So even though we have rules in our language, there are always rule breakers. If and of are rule breakers. Okay, let's look at something else that's new. Let's look at suffix on a noun. Suffixes are letters that are added to the end of a word that change the meaning of a word, and they're called suffixes. So we're going to look at our first one. If I have one bag, I spell it like this, B-A-G. But if I have more than one bag, this gal has 3 bags. So I have to put an S at the end of that. That means more than one. Here's another one. I have a map. So I would spell it like this. This is called a root word. The word that I start with is map. But I have a whole book of maps. So I have to put an S on there because there's more than one. So let's listen to the sounds at the end of those. Just listen to me say them. First one is bags. See how that makes that Z sound instead? The other one is maps. It makes the S sound. So when you're reading them, you just have to listen to which one makes sense to you. And usually, they just roll out of your mouth automatically. Okay, let's look at some more of those Flosz words. Here's our first one. F-E-O. F-E-O. Fell is the word. He fell down. Next one, we already know what E-L-L says. It says L. So let's put a B on there. Ready? B-L. Bell. Here's a picture of a bell. Next one, we already know what E-L-L says. It says L. So let's put a T on there. T-L. Tell. These guys are telling stories around the campfire. Tell. Let's take a look at our sight words. Here's the first one. They, what, are, have, from, and our new one is was. W-A-S. Most misspelled word I ever saw. Was. So you could pause this and practice writing was. It's spelled wrong a lot, and you see it everywhere. Okay, let's look at those suffixes on nouns again. Remember, those are just a few letters that are added to the end of a word to change the meaning of the word. We're looking at S. So I have a can of pop. I'm going to spell it like that. I'm going to make dinner, but I need 2 cans of vegetables to feed my family. So if there's more than one, I have to put an S on there. Cans. I have 1 cap. My friend has 3 caps. So I have to put an S on the end of that when I'm writing about it. Okay, so S on a noun means more than one. Let's look at some more of those Flosz words. Here's one. Ready? Sound it out. Ill. Ill. Hill is the word. Here's a picture of a hill. There's a bunch of hills there. They're not as big as mountains. Next one. Ill. Gill. We already know what ILL says, ill. So this is gill. On a fish, there's their gills, what they breathe with. Next one, we're going to practice spelling the word dill. So dill is a spice, and it goes in dill pickles. So dill, I want you to go practice trying to spell dill following the rule. Welcome back. Dill is spelled D-I-L-L. You have to double that L at the end. Here are 2 words that do not follow the rule that we've already seen. Gal and pal. They end in L, but they are not doubled. Take a look at our sight words again. They, what, are, have, from, and the new one, was. Read them with me from the top. They, what, are, have, from, was. Okay, in this video we looked at the Flosz rule. That's if a word is an F, L, S, or Z, it is usually doubled. We also looked at suffix S on a noun. When it's added to the end of a noun, it changes the meaning to more than one. Here are the Dolch and Fry words in this presentation.